Hi, I'm Simone Cobb and welcome to Green and Country's Kitchen, and today we're going to be making kale chips. Now we're all familiar with potato chips and every other variety of chips which are full of really bad oven hydrogenated oils. There's something that permeates snack foods, and this is a much healthier version. This is a way to get your kids to eat greens. This is a really fun way to get your kids to eat greens, and they're going to want to eat greens. I woke up one morning and found my son had just polished off a whole bag of kale chips I'd made the night before for breakfast. So as annoying as it was, having finished the whole bag, who could argue with them eating a bag of greens? And when I say kale chips, if you're not familiar with kale, it's this wonderful leafy green here. There's lots of different versions of kale, but what's known as the curly kale often makes the best chips. But you know what? You can experiment and make chips with lots of different greens, collards, and often the stronger, denser greens will dehydrate to make the best chips. Now they'll become really crunchy and they will be delicious. Promise. Even if you don't like greens, you got to try these. So the recipe we're going to be making today is just what I call a cheesy kale chip recipe. And when I say cheesy, I mean cheesy in terms of it is a vegan recipe. It's a raw vegan recipe. It does not have any dairy cheese. Everything in it will be made in the dehydrator. You can make them in the oven. It takes much less time, probably 15 minutes, and you have to watch it because you can burn them. But of course you will probably kill most of the nutrition in it. And they taste fantastic out of the dehydrator. So if you have a dehydrator or you have a whole lot of sun, you can stick them out in the sun and get the same effect. So essentially all we need for this recipe is we're going to make the dressing, the sauce that we put on them, and the kale chips. What we've done is I've got all the ingredients out. I have been getting my kids to help me with this because they love eating them. They eat them so quickly. I've been getting them to help me make them. And this recipe calls for 2 to 4 bunches of kale, depending on how thickly you like to coat the dressing on the leaves. Today we're going to use 3, just somewhere in between. And I've already got my kids to pull the greens off the stems. The stems are too thick, and you can reuse the stems if you're going to juice. They're good for that. So to get them off the stem, you just pull it away. Just pull it away like that. So the whole stem is there. You can, as I say, you can compost the stem or you can juice it. And so you get a piece like that. Now what we want is bite-sized pieces. So, that kind of size. And here's my bowl. This is my bowl of kale that the kids have already pulled. This is a great job for them. You wash your kale, pull it off the stems, and then just pull it, break it up into bite-sized pieces like so. And they just spent 10-15 minutes doing that together. And so that makes the job quicker for you. You can or they can do this too because the recipe is so simple. We just need a blender and our ingredients. And today I'm using the Omni Blend, which is a 3 horsepower blender. It's just as powerful as the well-known brands like Vitamix and Blendtec, and it's half the price. So I can't fault this. It's fantastic. Really look into grabbing one of these. It's good, heavy, got a 7-year warranty, so great blender. So we're going to just throw everything in there, and we're going to start with oil, a good quality, organic, cold pressed, extra virgin olive oil, and we just want 1/3 cup of oil that we're going to start with in this. So there we've got about 1/3 cup straight in. And then we want soy sauce to give us that nice salty bite. And effectively what we're making is a dressing. So you can use this on the greens raw. We've also got apple cider vinegar because we're going to balance out our flavors. My son Kingsley is going to come in and help me to do this because he loves doing this kind of stuff. He's a good little chef. Okay, I'm going to put the apple cider vinegar in. Okay, and now we're going to get the nutritional yeast. Do you want to just turn around and show them the nutritional yeast? These are nutritional yeast flakes, and it's not like a baker's yeast. It will not cause any candida issues, and it's a good source of vitamin B12. So you might want to get a... Oh, we're about to lose it all. You right? We didn't lose too much. So that's 5 tablespoons of that. I'll put the recipe up at the end. You gonna put that in? Then. So we had 1/3 cup of oil, 1/3 cup of soy sauce, and 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar. So equal parts, equal parts. Then we had our nutritional yeast, about 5 to 6 tablespoons, just depending on how kind of cheesy. This is what gives it the cheesy flavour. Now we're going to go with our tahini, which is sesame seed paste. If you don't have any tahini, that's 1/3 cup of tahini. Then you can just use sesame seeds directly, or you can use sunflower seeds or cashews, anything that's got, you know, a nice, a good protein base and got some good oils in it. Now we've got some lemon juice, and it's about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Oh, there we go. And we've got 2 cloves of garlic, and they're quite big cloves, but I love it garlicky and the kids love it garlicky, so that doesn't matter. So that's it, that's our dressing. I'm going to put the lid on, and you're going to just come over here so they can see. You can fire it up. You turn it on, and then just hit high. It doesn't take long. Okay, that's plenty. You turn it off. Okay, so now we're just going to have a quick taste test and just make sure all our flavours, our salts and our acids are balanced out. Just grab a spoon. How is it?
Spicy. Spicy and sweet.
Yep, that's a pretty good combination. It's pretty strong like that, but you love it on the chips, don't you? So now we've got our greens. I'm going to pour some of it, as you can see, over it, just give it a good coating. And now I'm going to get physical on it and use both your hands. And this is another fun job for the kids. They love doing this as well, because they love, you know, things that are messy and squishy. And you want to try and get it so that it's coating both sides of the greens. Sometimes because the greens are all curly, it doesn't quite. And we've got our rack here, you can see, with the mesh screen. And I'm just going to put a bunch on there, quickly spread it out. And in the dehydrator, you'll probably need to take every second tray out so that there's room, because the kale takes up a bit of room. And at 115 degrees, it'll take about 4 hours, depending on the weather. The more humid it is, the longer it takes to get them crunchy. But around about 4 hours, you'll find that you'll be peeling off, and you'll smell it, or the smell will go throughout the house. So there, we've got about a tray full there with that one bowl. And you can see there, I'm going to go and put that in the dehydrator now, and in 4 hours we'll show you the result. It's 4 hours later. I've taken the kale chips out of the dehydrator, and now you can see, this is the finished product. They're all kind of stuck together, but they are crunchy. If you can kind of hear this, I'm going to bag them now. Now I'm going to eat one, and you'll hear the crunch. That's how crunchy they are, and they are so good. They are so delicious. Crunch again, just so that, seriously crunchy. That's why they're chips. And now I'm going to have a hard time keeping the kids off them. I'm going to try that batch. Good batch. So now, the best way to store them, get a Ziploc bag, fill them up, and just make sure you seal it off. Because if the air gets to them once you've taken them out of the dehydrator, then they can go kind of soggy again. But they will keep for quite a while in a Ziploc bag, and you can also put them in the fridge if you're wanting to really make sure to keep them crispy. But seriously, they won't last long enough. They're that good.